Howdy lovelies, how are you all doing? Welcome back to our crafting, where we learn, grow and craft together. Today's session, it should be a quick one. It's not very difficult to make. I want to show you a little pocket that you can make, a different sort of envelope if you wish. And it is a beautiful little thing to include in Happy Mail, or even if you just want to include it in your journals. Let's jump right into it. What do we need? Our usual tools: pair of scissors, craft knife, metal ruler, glue stick, bone folder if you got one. If you don't have one, you can simply use a paper clip, the back of your glue stick, just to help you to fold the paper. It's preferable if you use double-sided 6x6 paper. I don't have. Mine is blank on the back. I've used some of this paper not so long ago in some craft projects. I kind of like this feel of it. I have a few sheets of each. We're going to start. Now, what do we need? We have to cover the one. The other we don't have to cover. This will be the bottom. This one I need to cover at least this part of it. So I've got some paper. This I printed from Twinkle, would you believe it? And yes, I have been using it for some school projects. So we're going to fold this. You can cover the whole thing if you so wish, but it's not needed. So what I'm going to do is turn this over, and I'm going to just glue a bit. You know me, I normally save paper, just because I believe we should actually do our part and conserve as much as possible. Now, I'm a bit out of your view here. You know, I always line it up on my grid. It just helps. So just more or less like that, because this is going to be our flap. So I want it maybe there. And for me, I'm just going to, so that I don't have to measure yet again, there and around there, so I know where to put the stick. Just add some glue right to the very end, and this we can always wipe off, so it's easy to clean up. Just a good coverage. And now to stick this down. Make sure it touches the end, because it's going to fold over. Gift card. You can even, if you want to and you don't have a gift card, use the closed end, put the cap back on of your glue stick, and just burnish this so that it can glue well. That's all. That's the only reason we do that. I'm going to need to just put a bit of glue on the ends, but it's fine. I'm going to cut this quickly. You could have covered the whole sheet if you wanted to. It's really not necessary, because only the flap you will see. That is then done, and we have saved all of this for the next project. So that can go. I just want to fix the ends so that I know it's gluing down well. Just a bit of TLC there, a bit of extra glue. That's always a good thing, especially on the ends. You don't want your project to come undone after you spend some time doing it. Just making sure that is fixed, and that one lifts up a tiny bit. So just a bit of glue there as well. And there we have that. This one can now just dry a little bitty. But in the meantime, I'm going to score it while it dries, right there where the paper is ending, because that is where we're going to fold it. And yes, you could use also just a pair of scissors. Let me show you. Just hold it open with the flat side, not the blade side, the rounded part. You can also just make an indent there so that it's scored and you can fold it. You don't need all these wonderful tools. Yes, the tools do make it a whole lot easier. This is a bit skewed, but we'll just guide it again. And the same with that, you can use your pair of scissors. There we go. And then for this one, we're going to do the same thing. And we're going to score it at about, not half, don't do it in half. We need one part shorter and the other a bit longer. So it's 6x6, half would be 3 inches. If you can maybe do it like 4 and a bit. 4 inches, maybe 4 and a bitty, like there. I don't have exact measurements, and I'll show you now what I mean with that. Bend this over, and just make sure that it's flush. You can use a fingernail to burnish this. After a few projects, you will feel that, oh, that is a bit sore. If it's too much for you to bear, you can use the handles of your scissors, a gift card, a bone folder if you've got one by now. And then the next thing we need is a circle punch. So with the circle punch, we are going to make a notch on both sides. And you can use whatever size you have. Now, if you don't have a circle punch, you can always use the bottom of that and just trace it in the middle. Now, what I normally do is I just refold this and just pinch it there and there so I can get the center of this to know where to punch it out. Let me just show you. This is now not folding properly. There and this side. And it doesn't matter that there's that fold. You're going to punch it out anyway. Now, I turn mine over. Just punch that. You can decide how far you want it in. Just in the middle of that. And the same here with this one. And yes, we're going to ink it. And this can be used as tabs. I'll show you in the next project. You can glue that together. And because it's more or less the same depth, it actually shows that we can use it as a tab. So there's so many things that you can do to stretch your actual papers. Now let's ink this quickly. Right around. I'll start on the inside. And yes, it's a brown paper, but you know the drill by now. We do it so that we can hide the white core of the paper. To me, it's just unsightly. I don't like the look of the white. Your project just looks a whole lot more rounded if you don't see the white core of the paper. And yes, you can do this with any color ink, even if you had red or pink or blue, whatever, it doesn't matter. You can use that. There we have that one. Now for this one, I just want to round the corners as well on these two edges. So let's use the bigger one of the three. And that one, we will also ink this up. You can see the white of the paper. And yes, you can go with a much darker color, like walnut stain or a ground espresso, sepia, coffee, whatever is your jam. This one, you won't see the inside. It will just, I just want to ink this side, just to help along that vintage feel. And then when we glue it together, you will see how it actually comes together. And no, I don't have any measurements. I never measure these things. Just make sure you adjust it if you glue it down. If you maybe did fold it in half or whatever the case might be. You can always maybe trim this part if you feel it's needed. So I just want to also ink this bottom part. There we have that. Now it doesn't look like much yet, but we will put it all together now. So for the next step, you just need some liquid glue. Yes, you need a stronger bond. You can use your ruler and just put glue on the side. Now for this one, we now need to add this in there. I'm going to just adjust it a tiny little bit so that, and now this part is showing. I should have covered that as well. Let's quickly do that then. Just grabbing that same paper that we cut out earlier. Just be careful that you don't put too much glue here now. You don't want glue on this side. So you can, one, use your ruler. Rulers are not just to make lines with. It can guide your glue stick along the way. And I'll just cover the whole thing. It's just easier. I should have done that from the start. You see, sometimes things just doesn't go like we planned it to. I'm going to use this. Just make sure it now goes where it should. The little card again to burnish it well. And this paper was torn a little bit at the bottom. Not an issue, we'll just trim it. Turn it over so we can trim the excess paper. You will see that paper normally cools when the glue is still wet. But the minute that it's dry, you will see that it is sorted. I just want to now add a bit of color to just blend that part and a bit there as well. That should be fine. That doesn't look too bad. Right, now we need to put these two parts together. Now you will see this one, this flap is much longer and it will look really crazy if we leave it like that. So we're just going to adjust this, and I'm going to turn this over and just put some glue on this side so it extends this flap a little bit, and then you will see that you can put things in there. So to make it easier for myself, I'll just make a little mark there. We can erase it later so that I know where to put my glue. And yes, you could use thin double-sided tape if you so wish. The very thin one that is about, I don't know how much, 1/8 of an inch. So let's start with glue this side. Just a tiny little bit and a tiny little bit. And I'll just line that up there and there and glue it down. And whatever is running out is extra. And then we'll turn this over and just put glue there, and we can close the little flap. And a slither of glue that side too. Just a bit on the end. And there, so the extra will run out. You can just wipe that off. I've got so much glue on this cutting mat again, I must just wash it properly again. And there we have our little pocket. All done and dusted. And again, you can adjust it for whatever theme. You can decorate it on top if you so wish. And you can now add things on the inside and things on the outside. And if you want to, you can actually shorten your paper and have a much smaller type like pocket. So this you can include with lots of ephemera pieces in a happy mail, or you can include it in a journal. And of course, you can adjust it to your theme, your color scheme. And there's lots of, have another one that is from Stamperia, I think, their paper, I can't remember. And obviously their cardstock is double-sided, so it was so much easier. Just adjusted it. This one is shorter, moved it across as well. And there we have a beautiful bucket. Thank you for joining me. Please go try and make a bucket for yourself. And if you do, tag Wobble Crafting on social media. If you want to see more content like this, give me a thumbs up. And as always, I'll appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel too. If you haven't done so yet, you can hit that notification bell so that you can be notified whenever I upload new content. See you back soon. Goodbye.